Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. This is episode 5 of Inside the Numbers. Again, I'm Hunter Aschenbrenner, joined by Jake Auerbach. Today, we're going to be recapping the Yankees and Mets last week, of course, and then just other big sports stories across the last week. So let's get into it.
Yeah, pretty big week. The MLB season kind of just strolling along. Ups and downs for both New York teams.
Yeah.
Obviously, Final Four, big week there. Michigan, congrats to them.
hmm
The Masters starting up, so we got some stuff going on.
Yeah, so let's get started. I want to talk a little bit about the Yankees. We'll recap their week to start. Earlier in the week, they took 2 out of 3 from the Marlins in their home opener, and then they suffered a series loss versus the A's. The offense hasn't really clicked. It's still really, everybody's cold for the most part, besides Ben Rice. It's everyone. Judge still isn't hitting. He'll get going. Bellinger's gone cold. Stanton hasn't been hitting as of late. But it's freezing outside. So we'll talk about that in the Mets case as well. But I feel like that's the main point with the Yankees so far in the last week.
Yeah, the offense has really not looked good at all. Back to what you said, everyone is cold right now besides Ben Rice.
Yeah, and
Um,
literally cold.
yeah.
And especially
Um,
Jazz. Jazz has I feel like we go through this every single year with him, and I remember saying it last year how he just can't hit in the cold. He actually looks freezing. Like other guys look like they're just not hitting. He looks like he's freezing, and that's probably the reason why he's not clicking yet. But I wouldn't be concerned about him. The main guy that people are talking about though is Ryan McMahon.
oh my, what's he hitting? I think it's like
It's like 070.
yeah.
Look, I feel like McMahon's gonna get back to the 90 OPS plus hitter that he usually is. He's not a good hitter. We know this. He's a below average hitter with a great glove. It's the reason they've lost these games and aren't scoring is because Judge, Bellinger, Grisham, Stanton, Jazz, they're all not hitting. Wells hasn't gotten going. When everybody is hitting and going as usual, the McMahon hitting not great is going to look like nothing.
Yeah, but just his batting average right now is getting the fans' attention because it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a career like all time
Yeah.
lowest, whatever. But
I feel like
um,
the one of the big things is I've found myself over the last week wondering when Anthony Volpe is coming back. I'm Jose Caballero's a nice player, and he can't be an everyday shortstop.
how's he played the last week? I know he
He
started off the
hasn't
season
he hasn't
okay,
been
but
hitting. He hasn't been hitting at all. His arm hasn't been great. He's a bench piece. I'm just Volpe. We know Volpe has his struggles, but Volpe, even when he's going normal, he's better than this, and he's consistent. So
yeah, we just
I'm
have to.
ready for him to come back and just man shortstop and be consistent again. Even
Is there a
consistent with
timeline?
he's starting a rehab assignment this upcoming week. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. It's not an ideal situation for the Yankees.
No,
Caballero and Volpe, but
yeah, you
just
just
kind of have
hope
to
Volpe
ride the hot
can.
hand a little bit.
Yeah. So
Um,
the offense obviously hasn't been great, but something that has been consistently awesome to start is the pitching. The bullpen's been a bit taxed overall so far. David Bednar's been shaky. His fastball velocity is down, but again, probably can just contribute that to the cold. He hasn't been great, and the entire bullpen has been taxed a lot because the starters aren't giving them much length because it's early in the season. But someone that did yesterday was Ryan Weathers. He went 8 innings of 1 run in a 1-0 loss, but he was someone coming into the season that he was their lone pitching move. And if that's the Ryan Weathers that we're gonna get going forward, that's huge for this team.
yeah, I was just about to bring that up. I think he got over 100 pitches. He went 8 innings, 1 run. It was just an
Yeah, he was
unreal start
elite.
from Weathers. It's just the offensive production. 1 hit versus the
Yeah,
A's. That
Jeffrey
was
Springs was
brutal.
dominant.
Yeah.
Which I
Um,
saw this, which was very interesting. Jeffrey Springs is seventh in ERA across the MLB since 2022.
what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
You serious?
No, 100%. which that's
Crazy.
wild. Yeah, I mean, like he's so underrated.
He's really up there with like Scooble and
Yeah,
Skins and like
seventh in the MLB since 2022 is what Yes put on the screen yesterday during the game.
that's an insane stat.
Yeah. Cam Schlittler had his first mediocre start. He gave up his first couple runs of the year, but still dominant, and he's looking incredible to start the season. The bullpen is the big thing. Hopefully, they'll start to get some more length out of their starters, and another starter that's making his debut tonight against Tampa Bay, Luis Gil, is gonna be making his season debut. He started in AAA, we talked about, because they didn't need a fifth starter until today. He looked very good in his final AAA start and his final spring training start. You just hope that that's the Luis Gil we get, and if he can come back to his Rookie of the Year form, this rotation is going to get even better.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about this rotation getting even better. I mean, right now it's already a really good rotation.
Oh, yeah.
And you're gonna add guys down the stretch of the season like Garrett Cole, like Carlos Rodon,
Yeah,
tonight in Luis Gil.
Yeah. Cole's continuing to make progress. He's going to face hitters in Hudson Valley in a couple days. Rodon is nearing a rehab assignment. So, I mean, it's huge. And when those guys come back, you assume some of those starters can be pushed to the bullpen. Maybe Will Warren, Ryan Weathers, Luis Gil. Of those three guys, they're not going to push Schlittler or Fried. But a big confusing thing that has started the season, they DFA'd Cade Winquist as the corresponding move for Gil. It didn't make any sense, the usage of him or the non-usage of him. They carried 9 relievers instead of 8 because they only took 4 starters, and they never used Winquist. And, I mean, I don't know why you couldn't get a couple innings out of him to try and, like, give guys like Hedrick and Doval and Bednar and just everyone in your bullpen, Fernando Cruz, less time in the game. I mean, you don't want to tax your bullpen this early.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't give Winquist a shot instead of
In low leverage, situations.
instead of using someone like Paul Blackburn.
It may not just him. I mean, it's like, why would you not? Yeah.
Leverage arm, but
yeah, like why give Winquist an inning and you take one less inning of Hedrick, who's been very good so far?
Yeah, I don't really know why they. I mean, what the Yankees have played 12 games.
Yeah, they're 8-4.
Yeah, so I don't know why he hasn't appeared in one inning.
Yeah, it was weird.
Games.
I mean, I guess they just didn't feel comfortable in him pitching at all. He's a Rule 5 pick, and he never pitched above Double-A. So, I mean, why would you take him out of spring? I mean, you could have taken, I said this name last week, Giovanni Cruz is throwing 100 miles an hour down in AAA, and he's been dominant. Or Yerry De Los Santos or Osvaldo Bido. You could have taken one of those guys with you and just been another low-leverage arm so far this season. But
yeah,
it's the last man on the roster.
I don't know why they wouldn't give one of those guys a shot instead of Winquist, who hasn't even appeared in it. He hasn't gotten anything. Like,
it was weird.
It just seems a little weird to me.
And now they just sent him back to the Cardinals, more than likely, unless the Cardinals decline to take him back for $50,000, which I don't see happening.
I'm sure they would take him and just plug him down in AAA or something.
Yeah. So the Yankees are now 8-4. They're going to start the series against Tampa tonight, back at the Trop. So that's interesting. Nobody seems to like the Trop. I mean, the Trop. I feel like I really liked watching games down at George Steinbrenner last year, but back inside tonight, and the Yankees will look to take that series against the Rays.
Yeah, I mean, you're just kind of looking for the offense to start clicking.
To warmer
like
weather.
Judge, yeah.
So warmer weather. They're only
series.
It's only
Jazz Chisholm could have a big series.
It's only a 3-game set, and then they come back home. So you hope by next week, maybe the weather starts to get better, and you kind of just. April baseball is always brutal.
Yeah, but you're looking for a guy like Jazz Chisholm.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for a guy like Aaron Judge, maybe Cody Bellinger, Trent Grisham. You get a week in warm weather. Or, sorry, not a week. But you get 3 games down in warm weather. Yeah. You kind of look for some of those guys to have a good series and maybe carry that momentum back home.
Yeah, not concerned about the offense at all. All their metrics are still like great, and it's just the ball doesn't carry as much, and it's colder, obviously. I mean, Trent Grisham, he's been walking a lot. He's getting on base a ton in front of Aaron Judge. His metrics are still great. He's going to have a good year.
Yeah.
Stanton, obviously, he started off red hot, has cooled down. Ben Rice is looking like one of the best hitters in the entire MLB, though, and he's just been unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean he's just been hitting really well all season.
And his defense has looked great at first.
Yeah, he's looked much better at first. But you look at his advanced metrics. I mean, they're all top of the league.
Yeah.
Like he just connects.
They're unbelievable. Yeah. So another guy that struggles in April, usually as we shift to the Mets side, is Francisco Lindor. He's gotten off to a rough start. They really need him to start stepping up, though, as Juan Soto is going to be out 2 to 3 weeks with a calf strain. And I mean, I was looking at it last night. It really, when you take like Soto out of that lineup, it really like shows how like the lineup isn't deep at all. Like
To some extent.
Luis Robert. I mean, I know he's been very good to start the season, and he's looked like a completely different hitter, and he homered yesterday. But like for the past 2 years, he's been a terrible major league hitter.
Yeah.
And he's batting third. I mean, that's.
I wouldn't. You just have a lot of guys who can be really good, but also
You have no surefire bats.
Their highs are really high, their lows are really low.
Like Mark Vientos.
Someone like Mark Vientos, someone like Brett Beatty, Marcus Semien even.
Semien, I feel, is like a bit out of that. Because I don't see much left in Marcus Semien.
I don't see him ever getting up to like a 750 OPS guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he he was abysmal to start the season. He's looked a little bit better the last week or so, but it's some of those guys, like Vientos and Beatty specifically, who when they're on, they look really good, but when they're low, they don't look good at all. And when they're on, they can really extend the lineup, especially with someone like Soto out. You need some of these guys to step up in the spot and start producing.
Yeah, so the Mets, they are 7-6, right?
Yeah.
So they won 3 out of 4 down in San Francisco, and then they lost 2 out of 3 at home against Arizona. They're going to start a series against the A's tonight.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the big topic that everyone's talking about right now is David Peterson. If he can start to get back on track, he had a rough ending to the season last year, and he got rocked for the second straight appearance against Arizona. What are your thoughts on him going forward?
It's really weird because the first half of last season, he was an all-star. He made the all-star game. He was an incredible
he was
pitcher
the head of
year.
the staff.
Yeah. And then after the all-star break, his ERA was 6 something, and then if you cut that in half, like the second half of the back half of the year, like the last quarter of the season, his ERA was above 9.
Yeah.
So it's just really weird what happened to him over the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
And then first start of the season, he looked really good against the Pirates.
Yeah.
I think he went 5 or 6 innings. Only it might have been I don't know if he let up a run or not, but he looked really good nonetheless.
Yeah, he was looking good again.
His last 2 starts have been awful. Pulled early in the game, just gotten shelled by both teams. So it's really weird what happened to him just out of nowhere. And there's no injury concern with him. I don't know what happened, but you don't like to see it.
Yeah, and there's he doesn't have any minor league options. So I feel like we're a couple weeks away from, Sean Manaea is still built up in the bullpen. He hasn't looked great, but I feel like we're a couple outings from Peterson away to flopping them and flipping them and giving Manaea a chance in the rotation and Peterson moving to the bullpen.
Yeah, either it's moving Manaea to the rotation or sending down one of these relievers or DFAing one of them, like Luis Garcia or Dickie Lovelady, one of these guys, like the low-average arm, calling up Christian Scott, giving him a shot.
I don't think it's time for that yet. I know he had a really good outing a couple days ago. he is only 2 outings back from Tommy John.
Yeah.
I feel like it would take you want to give him time to get his feet back under him and get back pitching consistently before you call him up to the bigs. But yeah, I mean, something's gonna have to be done soon. I mean, you got to start like your bullpen. It's the bullpen getting taxed with both teams. You know, Luke Weaver and Devin Williams have pitched a lot. Luke Weaver was not good last night. He lost the game after Noel McLean was unbelievable. We'll talk about him. But the pitching, I mean, last year it was unbelievable to start the season, and then it was the reason they missed the playoffs. So it's gotta get more consistent, and especially with Peterson.
Yeah, but two guys who have pitched well outside of Noel McLean, Kodai Senga and Clay Holmes.
Yeah.
Both of their first two starts were pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing fantastic from either of them. Actually, Clay Holmes, his second start against the Giants was probably his best in the Met uniform.
Yeah, probably as a starter completely.
Yeah.
He went 7 innings. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, so I mean, you want to see stuff like that, getting him deep into games. And then Kodai Senga, his fastball velocity is up. The forkball is looking great as usual. So if he can be a good starter, that really lengthens the rotation outside of Noel McLean and Freddie Peralta.
Yeah, I mean, Freddie Peralta, we'll talk about him when we talk about McLean. He's been all right to start the season. But the offense, Jorge Polanco is still dealing with Achilles tendonitis. So, I mean, I feel like we might be heading for an IL stint. Just put him on the 10-day IL and just give him time off his feet. You don't want to mess with it. But a guy that's really struggled is Carson Bench. We talked about it before opening day, if it was time to bring him up to the big leagues, and we said the risk was that he's not ready and he didn't even play in AAA. Is it time to send him down yet, or do you give him a couple more weeks? You know, he's been very bad as of late.
I don't think it's time to send him down. I think you give him maybe 2 or 3 more weeks to see if he can collect himself. Because the first couple games, he was taking good at bats. He was hitting the ball hard. He was putting the ball in play a lot, just hitting the ball hard. But now it seems like he's getting behind in every at bat. He's starting to chase balls outside. He's just not hitting well at all. So you don't like to see it. But
yeah, I think he has until Soto gets back.
I think that's a good timeline.
Yeah, I mean, 2.5 more weeks, and then you send him down as the corresponding move for Soto if he doesn't start hitting. I mean, the other possibility would be to send down Ronnie Mauricio, he's gotten off to a good start back in the big leagues. He had the walk-off against Arizona the other night, and you just hope maybe he can get to the player that he was hyped up to be as a prospect.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll ever be that guy. I mean, he was always a guy with like a 5-tool player potential, future of like a Mets utility guy. I don't know if he'll ever get to that because I just don't know how good his bat is. But I mean, you see the power he has. Like, he's a guy with just raw power who can crush balls. Maybe you give him a shot. I don't know. Maybe we'll see Mike Talkman if he comes back.
Yeah, when he's healthy again.
Yeah, we'll see when he's healthy. If maybe that's a guy Benj gets sent down for. To give him a little bit in AAA, but I'm not concerned about Benj. I still think he's going to be a good player. It just might not be time yet. That's the only thing.
He's young. You know, it takes these guys a while to figure out the big leagues. You know, Connor Griffin finally got the call, or not finally, he's only 19. But he hasn't been great so far. He's
not looked good.
He's going to be unbelievable. We know that. It's just a matter of time. It's just when he figures out the MLB. It's a big jump.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous going from facing AAA pitching. Even the jump from AAA to the MLB in terms of just the pitching is nuts.
It's huge.
Like, the velocity's up, the spin rate's up, all the movement's up. I mean, the stuff is just better.
And the atmosphere that you're in, there's so much more pressure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that will be it for our baseball talk. We'll talk a bit more next week.
One guy I do want to talk about for the Mets, Francisco Alvarez.
Oh, he's been great.
Yeah, he's off to a fantastic start this year.
Yeah. Or actually, I want to talk about McLean, so we won't wrap up baseball yet. So yeah, Alvarez, he's been great to start the year. Thing last year was Eric Chavez ruining him, and
Yeah,
Chavez is finally gone, and Alvarez looked very good. So yeah, that's huge in lengthening the lineup if he can
yeah,
be back to his rookie form.
yeah. He's another one of those guys like Mark Vientos or Brett Beatty who can really lengthen this lineup.
Yeah.
And Alvarez and Beatty have Alvarez and Vientos have really gotten off to just great starts this
Yeah,
year.
tremendous
Um,
power.
Vientos has kind of cooled down the last 2 or 3 games. Beatty hasn't looked. He looked really good the first series, but he has not looked good.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, Alvarez is off to a great start. You're finally seeing his potential. Well, we've seen it, but hopefully he
Getting
can just
back to
continue
it,
this. If he can continue this throughout the whole season, like he's a
huge.
top 5, top 10 catcher right there.
He's up there, yeah.
Yeah. And then Mark Vientos, we just need to see him consistently hit. Like if he can get
Hmm.
back to that 2024 form, that's just so big for the lineup. Like that's an all-star bat right there.
Hmm. Definitely.
And he's looked really good. I remember there was the stretch between the Giants series where he was hitting everything. Like he
Yeah, he
literally
was
had to
like
hit.
hitting over 500.
Yeah. So I mean, you really like to see that from a guy like him. But we just need to see some consistency out of the three of them, three
Hmm.
baby Mets,
Yeah.
to really help lengthen this lineup.
Yeah, so before we close on baseball, let's talk about Noah McLean. He was unbelievable, nasty as usual last night against um, Arizona. Um, I feel like he's the ace of the team. Freddie Peralta, I mean, he hasn't gotten off to a great start, but he doesn't go deep enough into games. Noah McLean, he always looks like he's in control. I mean, other than when he's walking a lot of people, but like he's dominant.
Yeah, his last 2 starts were unreal. So he had a perfect game through 5 innings against the Giants.
Yeah,
And then last night he went 7 scoreless. Or sorry, he
six
went
and a third.
6 and a third without letting up a run, and then Luke Weaver came in and had his runs
Yeah, it'll go down
scored
as
in.
2 earned for McLean, but
Yeah,
when he was in the game, no one scored off of him.
yeah. I mean, he was unreal last night. Like the stuff
Yeah.
was just there. Fastball velocity is up, which you love to see. Like,
Hmm.
how do you hit a guy who throws wiffle ball like pitches and then
Yeah,
can come at you 98, 99 at the hands?
you can't.
Like it's impossible. Like for a lefty hitter, like like even for the lefty righty matchup, like you can't hit the off speed stuff if you're lefty. You have to just
Hmm.
look for that fastball, and he can locate that fastball so well on the outer part of the plate that it's really just hard to hit him.
Hmm. Yeah, and then the Mets were winning when he left the game, and then Luke Weaver and Luis Garcia came in and lit it on fire for the most part.
Yeah, last night was terrible. That's gonna go down in one of the worst losses this year.
Yeah, for everyone that went out to the game, you're cold, you just want to see a win. You see Noah McLean, and then the bullpen just ruins it.
Yeah, McLean throws a gem. Luis Robert hits a home run in the first. I mean, it's off to a really good start, and then just totally everything imploded.
Yeah. So that will be it for the baseball section. We'll talk more next week and recap this upcoming week. I want to talk about the ending of March Madness. Elliot Cadeau led Michigan in their 69-63 win over UConn. He had 19 points in the national championship and actually was awarded the Final Four Most Outstanding Player. Just an unbelievable player and an outstanding journey after he wasn't great at North Carolina and then transferred to Michigan, and he's been great since.
Yeah, it's a good story. Feel good story for Cadeau. UNC fans hated him. He was a joke across the country. Teams were letting him shoot. Like there's a viral clip out there of he got the ball and he was right at the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Teams were backing off, just letting him shoot.
Which you don't
And he
see
had
that a lot.
he had 2 shots in a row on that possession. He missed both. Fans were going crazy. Like,
Yeah.
and then now here he is. He won. What was it? Most valuable player of the Final Four.
Most outstanding player.
Yeah, most outstanding player. He won the Natty, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really good turnaround story for Cadeau, and he just signed a new deal with Michigan. He'll be returning there next season. So Michigan is reloading next year.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the transfer portal so far. Some action has gotten going. So yeah, let's just talk about that.
Yeah, so Michigan also picked up J.P. Estrella from Tennessee, big man. I mean, they just keep adding big men. I mean, you saw the difference between Michigan and the other teams was the size.
They dominated and just crushed teams all year because of it and bullied.
Yeah. How do you guard Ade Mara, who's 7'3" or 7'4", and then have to guard Merez Johnson and Yaxel Lindeborg, who are both 6'10"?
Yeah, and Yaxel's just like he's a monster.
Yaxel's
he's
beast.
Like a point forward.
Yeah, I mean, even playing on the injured ankle, I mean, he was a monster.
Yeah, and that was the big question. It was him and Solo Ball with how healthy would they be. Thankfully, they were both able to play and play well for the most part.
Yeah. I do think Michigan was the better team than UConn, but, I mean, the officiating was awful.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Like, I mean, it seemed like every single call went to Michigan. I mean, UConn, Solo Ball fouled out.
Yeah.
I mean, Hurley was pissed. You could see it all game. He was, it seemed like the refs were just wearing a Michigan jersey.
It's frustrating when you get all the way to the national championship and then it's taken out of your control.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan, what's it called? UConn was already at 10 fouls, which is the bonus plus.
Mm-hmm.
After, they were 12 minutes in, 13 minutes into the first half, and Michigan was already shooting free throws. I think they shot 26 free throws or something like that all game.
Yeah.
Just nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So you hate to see a national championship go down like that, but UConn was not the better team. So
no, they were just. I mean, Dusty May is a great coach, but Dan Hurley is one of the best all time.
Yeah.
So I mean, just congrats to Michigan and another great March Madness tournament. I cannot wait for next year already.
Yeah, I mean, it's already a year away, but already excited for next year. It's just it's the best tournament in the world.
Yeah, for sure. There's another big basketball tournament coming up in the next couple weeks. The NBA playoffs, of course. The Knicks defeated the Celtics last night. You don't have to give much into this. They can essentially lock up a first-round matchup against the Raptors with a win tonight at the Garden. And that is going to be huge if they can. You know, in the past couple of years, they haven't had an easy first-round matchup. You know, Detroit last year was a battle. Cleveland the year before was a battle. Atlanta, of course, just Miami. They're hard matchups. And you really want to be able to just get into the playoffs with an easy matchup. And Philly, of course, we saw them a couple years ago. Joel Embiid's going to be out he got surgery a couple days ago, so he might miss the entire playoffs.
Appendicitis, right?
Yeah. Which OG Anunoby, when he was on Toronto in 2019, he got that around this time and missed the entire playoff run.
Yeah,
so that's just loss. Yeah, it's going to be huge to see if we can get Toronto. And I mean, we've won our last 12 games against the Raptors, which it would be an easy matchup completely. I'm really hoping to avoid Orlando.
Wait, so I saw tonight if they win, they get the Raptors. If they lose,
they
can get the Hawks?
They can essentially lock up a first round matchup against the Raptors tonight. And if they with a win, if they lose, they will likely get the Hawks, but there's still an outside possibility for Orlando. Atlanta wouldn't be at a hard matchup, but they've been really hot as of late. We just had a battle of game a couple nights ago against them. Orlando's very physical and similar to Detroit last year. But Toronto, they're not as good of a team just across the board. And they would be great for us to get into the playoffs easily and ease into it against Toronto with a win tonight.
Yeah, I would never really throw out the word easy when it comes to playoff matchups.
Yeah, I mean Toronto, they haven't beaten any good teams. I saw something this morning how they've lost like every single contender and haven't beaten any of them. And they've most of their wins come against below 500 teams. You know, it screams of a team that's just not going to be able to compete in the playoffs.
No, sure, but if they are in the playoffs, that means they are a
Yeah.
solid team. I wouldn't say it's an easy matchup. You know, a 7-game series. You
Of
never
all
know
the
what can happen.
options, that's who you hope for.
Yeah, but didn't Miami? They went to the NBA Finals as the last
Yeah.
season, right? Like you see
Yeah.
it happen. So I wouldn't call it an easy matchup, but it's probably the best matchup available.
Definitely. Yeah, and the playoff rotation looks set. It's going to be Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, Josh Hart, who was unbelievable last night against Boston, hit 2 dagger threes in the final minute. Karl Anthony Towns, I want to talk about him and Brunson in a minute. And then off the bench, Clarkson, McBride, Robinson, and Shamet. So that looks to be the 9 for the playoffs. And then you've got Alvarado, you've got Diawara. You've got a ton of guys that can still play, but they haven't been as good in the second half. So that's what Mike Brown's going to be running with heading into the postseason.
Yeah, I mean it's a really deep team. I bring this up every time, but I do think it matters.
Yeah,
when
fully.
it comes to playoffs. I think the depth of the Knicks, they got like 12 or 13 guys that can actually play minutes.
Yeah.
And I think that'll come in big.
Yeah, and Jordan Clarkson, I mean, his really like evolution all season. He went from just a good scorer, terrible defender early in the year, and then he was out of the rotation for a while, and then he got back in, he got his foot back in the door, and he's been aggressive on defense. He's been a great playmaker, and he's been awesome in the second half, and it's going to be huge with him. Mitchell Robinson's looked like a monster. Not literally, but he's been great.
So.
He's been great, as per usual, and he's really the guy that playoff teams cannot stop. Like Boston, like Joe Mazzulla is a genius, and Mitchell Robinson always gives him trouble. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean he's been a Knick. He's the longest tenured Knick, right?
He's gonna be a free agent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean we hope we could keep him. It's just a lot of teams might offer him. It's different when it's your own player and not going out and spending on outside free agents, but some teams might offer him a lot of money. So just hope you can keep him.
Similar to Hartenstein a couple of years ago.
Yeah, a bit of a different situation. The Knicks were gonna keep Hartenstein, but there was CBA rules that didn't allow the Knicks to offer that much because of his previous contract. It was weird. But Robinson, just his price tag might just get out of like how much they can afford. And like it's similar to like Wandale Robinson. Like the Giants weren't going to go that far for Mitch or for Robinson. And so the Knicks just you really hope you can keep him. He's a game changer.
Yeah, if he has a big playoff, might see him get a bag.
Yeah, for sure. And the final thing I want to say about the Knicks, the Brunson and Towns two-man game has looked unbelievable over the last 2 games. That was what we were really like looking forward to when the trade originally happened for Towns. Their synergy on the court and looking to play together. And if they can like continue what they've done, it's unstoppable. And you really think, did Mike Brown like keep this behind closed doors until we got close to the playoffs? He didn't want to show his hand because we haven't seen this all season. But if they can do it, it's going to be huge for this team's playoff success. We'll talk and we'll preview the Knicks' first-round matchup when it's solidified next week. But, yeah, just a big victory versus Boston tonight or last night, and then they hope to lock it up versus Toronto tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the Celtics look really good with Tatum. With Tatum coming back, they've looked much better. And it's a big win last night. You know, a really good team, 2 really good teams that could potentially meet up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that.
And the rivals, it's going to be a great matchup if it happens.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so one last topic before we get out of here is for episode 5 is the Giants and the Jets. I want to talk a little bit about. The draft is 2 weeks from yesterday, so we'll do a mock draft episode sometime before then, before that Thursday night that we cannot wait for. But the big topic outside of the draft right now is Dexter Lawrence. He demanded a trade. The ongoing contract dispute between him and the organization. Where do you think this situation ends up, and what are your thoughts on it as a whole?
So my first thoughts originally were that this was for negotiation purposes, and he wants a new extension with the Giants pretty clearly. He wants to be paid like the best D tackle in the NFL, which he might be. And
it's hard for him to try and bring it up though. After last year, he looked not interested, and he was out of shape, and he didn't perform like Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, he was still probably the Giants' second best player on the defensive side of the football. So that just shows how good he is. That he seemed off. He seemed like something was lingering on him, and he didn't seem as connected. And he was still a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
That just shows how talented and how dominant he can be.
Yeah, we know how good he can be.
Yeah, so I think the Giants need to find a way to extend him because he wants the extension. The Giants kind of just wanted to let this contract ride out. He still has 2 years left, but now that he requested a trade, everyone knows about it. They can't do that anymore. That's not an option. So it's either going to be an extension or it's going to be a trade, similar to Myles Garrett last year.
I mean, I feel like it really hurts the Giants that he went public with this trade request. You know, Quinn Williams, I'll bring him up with the Jets side of things. He kept it in-house. He wanted out, but the media, no one knew about it. So Darren Muji and the Jets were able to get a ton for him. They got a first-round pick, a second, and then obviously Mozzie Smith, but he's not a big factor. But, I mean, I don't think that's going to be a return like that for Dexter Lawrence. I mean, I know Connor Hughes put out a couple possible packages. He said a late first-round pick this year, a 27 first-round pick, or a second and like a fifth, which I think my favorite possible package out of that would be the 2027 pick. But, I mean, it'd be tough to get nothing immediate for him if you're losing that good of a player.
Yeah, I mean, and the Giants are a team that wants to contend next year.
Yeah,
they want to push for a playoff spot. They just hired John Harbaugh,
and then you're gonna lose one of your best players, and you're gonna have to beef up your interior. You know, then if you trade, we'll talk about the draft. If you trade Dexter Lawrence, do you start looking into Christian Miller or Peter Woods or Lee Hunter or one of those defensive tackles to try and fill the void?
Yeah, potentially at 33, not at 5. Sorry, not 33, 37. But Hunter. Lee Hunter.
Right here.
Potentially a Jet.
I don't think so. It'd be pretty nice though.
Yeah, it'd be a cool.
All right, let's get back to Dexter Lawrence, though.
Yeah, it'd be a cool jersey for you to get, but whatever. Eventually, when this all settles down, I do think he will be extended by the Giants. I do not think he will be traded. I think that is kind of the consensus around the league.
I think that's where it ends up. But the question is just when. You know, you don't want this to drag into training camp.
No,
with him holding out, you don't want that.
Yeah, he's a leader, not just on the field. Like he's a leader in the locker room.
He's a player. Yeah, he's a player that people respect in that locker room.
Yep.
And I feel like
they're not the same position, but an edge rusher and a D tackle, similar to rushing the passer or whatever. A guy like Abdul Carter, he looks up to someone like Dexter Lawrence. He's a big figure in the locker room. They're both rushing the passer. Like that's not good for Abdul Carter to have their star players just holding out because he wants more money.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to affect the team, of course. I feel like a big thing in this is Dexter Lawrence looking around. He's like, who are my favorite teammates over the years? Julian Love, Saquon Barkley, Leonard Williams. They all left because they didn't get paid by the Giants, and they all had immense success elsewhere. So I feel like he's looking at that and being like, either pay me or get me out of here because I want to win. You know, even though there's belief around the Giants that they are going to be pushing for a playoff team, they're not going to be a Super Bowl contender this year. I mean, that's not obviously the consensus.
I do think the timing is weird, though. I understand the contract side of things, but he's been with the Giants for 7 years. This is going to be his 8th year in the league. All
Yeah.
8 are going to be with the Giants if he resigns. But um, it is weird how the Giants were so bad for really all 7 of those years outside of one where we made the playoffs. But and now it seems like they're finally turning the corner. You know, they got Jackson Dart, that ferocious D line that he's a part of. You got John Harbaugh, their home run hire at coach. It feels like they're going to be pushing for a playoff spot.
Yeah,
And
it's
now he
business.
wants out. It's the full. It's just business, but it just the timing is a little weird. Like
Yeah, definitely.
if he really wanted out and it was something to do with the football side of things with the Giants, it seemed like he would have done this years ago. So I do think it's fully just the contract things. I trust Donapont, Donaponte, and Joe Shane to maybe get something done.
Hopefully, you just want this to get resolved as soon as possible. Obviously,
Yeah.
you want it to be in favor of the Giants keeping him, but I mean, I'd trade him before a holdout. If you're not going to get a contract done and it's going to look to him holding out, trade him and get value.
Yeah, I think the best thing
Just
that they
want
could
to
probably
get
get
yeah
is a 2027 first. Because
yeah
I think
looking at the
late
future
fir-
for sure.
a late first this year is definitely worse than a late first next year. So
hmm
it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I do think they end up keeping him, and I do think that's the best. But this public trade request just means that they don't have an option to
Yeah.
just hold out on this contract and let it ride until the end of this deal. They have to either extend him or trade him. There's no other option.
Yeah, I agree. So as I mentioned the draft earlier, before we end episode 5, I want to let's go. So the Giants have 2 top 50 picks, 5 and 37, and the Jets have 2, 16, 33, and 44. Give me your off the top of your mind right now, your picks for number 5 and number 37 for the Giants, and then I want you to do the 4 for the Jets, and then I'll do the same for Giants and Jets.
At 5, I think I'm between 2 guys, Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs.
Oh wow! So you're out on Jeremiah Love, and you're out on Francis Mauigoa.
Francis Mauigoa is interesting. I wouldn't be mad if they took him at 5. I think, I don't know how he would transition to guard. I know a lot of scouts think he should transition to guard, not even with the Giants, just as a player. But
Yeah.
we don't have a need at tackle. I mean, we have our starting tackles for the next 3
for sure.
years. Taking him at 5 doesn't make sense unless you fully plan to have him play right guard, which I'm sure he could. He's a fantastic player. He is
Definitely.
just powerful. He's dominant. He has everything that you want in an offensive lineman. I think you look 3 or 4 years down the road, he could be a top 5 tackle in the league.
Yeah.
But
feel
I just
like
don't know if he fits that well with Giants and what we need.
I feel like you mentioned Caleb Downs. I feel like he's really become like underrated in the draft process. You know, it's
100%.
the draft process is so like it's so long and it shouldn't be. Like I feel like they should move the draft up just in the next couple years. But yeah, Caleb Downs, I feel like people are forgetting how unbelievable this kid is, and he's just an absurd prospect. So yeah, I mean, so who are you gonna go with number 5? Is it gonna be Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs?
It's a really tough question. I think Caleb Downs is probably the better player, but Sonny Styles just I think makes a little more sense for the Giants. You know, Harbaugh's defense is structured around that superstar linebacker. You know, you signed Tremaine Edmonds, he's a great player, but a guy like Sonny Styles who had arguably was it the best combine ever?
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
Like he was unreal at the combine. Like I think it might have been the best combine performance ever. He's a great player, but Caleb Downs is I think he's just the better player, but Styles makes more sense for the Giants. It's a really tough decision, but I'm happy with either of those two. just not Jeremiah Love. I mean, that would make zero sense at all.
All right, well, you got to choose one.
All right, if I had to choose one, flip a coin. Give me Caleb Downs.
Wow, so you're going to choose Caleb Downs to slot in the secondary next to Javon Holland.
Yeah.
I was not thinking that when I brought up this question. So now you've got Caleb Downs, number 5, and then 37. Where are you going to go?
I think here you can look for a receiver potentially. I think Casey Concepcion makes a ton of sense at this pick.
He does.
Zachariah Branch potentially. 2 guys who could play the slot, be that Wandale replacement.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could both. They're both great players. I think they could both be a pick here. I think maybe a guard, someone like Chase Pasantis, someone like Emmanuel Pregnan makes a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then potentially a D tackle. We'll see what happens with Dexter Lawrence, but they do need someone next to him.
Yeah.
So I do think someone like Christian Miller, maybe Peter Woods makes sense here.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta get somebody to help stop the run after taking someone in the secondary. But also at the same time, do you want to go to defense and not support Jackson Dart?
Yeah, definitely. And then if they do go Styles or someone else outside of a defensive back at 5, I think a corner at 37 can make sense. We'll see how the board falls, but someone like Brandon Cisse is an awesome athlete. I think he makes sense at 37. So, I mean, there's a ton of options they can go because they do have a bunch of holes to fill still. But I think those are some of the names that could be in play.
I feel like you brought up corner. I know Mansour Delane could pop up in the discussion. Not at number 5. I feel like if you traded down a couple spots,
definitely.
maybe to 8 or 9, that he could come into play. So you have Caleb Downs at 5, and then what is going to be your pick at 37?
I think guard probably makes the most sense. It's hard to predict who's going to fall at 37, who's still going to be there, but someone like Chase Pasantis, Emmanuel Pregnan, I think between those 2 guys, I think Pregnan's just the better player. So I'll say Emmanuel Pregnan.
So Caleb Downs and Emmanuel Pregnan are going to be your 2 picks for the Giants. So, I mean, that would fill 2 needs, definitely, but you're leaving still corner and receiver for the later picks. They don't have any other top 100 picks. So, I mean, that would be pretty solid. I feel like for the Giants, I'm really tempted by Jeremiah Love because of the situation the Giants are in. I'm not going to take Caleb Downs. Not just because you didn't take him. I don't feel like he'd be the right pick. Francis Maui Noah.
I just think Caleb Downs is probably, when you watch all these guys on the field, you take that positional value. I think Caleb Downs is the best football player in this draft.
Yeah. I feel like with the deep safety class, I would lean off and maybe get somebody like, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren maybe in the 2nd round, or trade back into round 1 for him, but Jeremiah Love tempts me a lot. I don't know if he's gonna be there at 5 though. I'm gonna go with Sonny Styles. We know that John Harbaugh loves superstar linebackers who rule the defense. He also loves superstar safeties with Caleb Downs. But, Sonny Styles, I feel like he's such an unbelievable player. And to help stop the run and to lead the defense next to Tremaine Edmonds, that would be huge. So Sonny Styles is going to be my pick for number 5. And then you move to 30.
If you're talking about just floor, out of every player in the draft, I think Styles and Downs might have the highest floors.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think 2 good picks there for the Giants, 2 good options.
The argument against Styles is really if he doesn't turn into like Fred Warner or Brian Urlacher, it might be a failure of a pick. Because you're looking, if he turns out to be Devin Lloyd from this year, is that a success? At number 5, you just saw the contract Devin Lloyd got. So, I mean, you're picking number 5 for a $15 million player? If he's an all-pro.
I understand what you're saying, but you could say that about every position. If Jeremiah Love gets taken 4 by the by the Titans. If he doesn't become Bijan Robinson, is he a bust?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm gonna go Styles. I feel like it'd be a great pick overall. I mean, despite the concerns. And then at 37, I'm leaning the same way with offensive line. You know, they signed Daniel Falele and they have Evan Neal also competing there. I don't think you can go in at right guard with that. I mean,
No.
Orluminor is good. JMS is not great. I don't think you can have two real weak links on your offensive line.
JMS is a solid center. His
He's
best
below
year of his
average,
career was
though.
last year.
Yeah.
He's coming off the best year of his career. I think he's just a solid center. Like, he's serviceable.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call him a weak link.
And then at 37, I'm thinking guard. Yeah. I mean, receiver, there's a ton of guys. And then safety and corner also are tempting. But you went with Emmanuel Pregnon. I'm going to go with Chase Basantes out of Texas A&M. I saw he had a top 30 visit with the Giants.
Yeah.
I think it's a match that is made in heaven and is going to – I could really see that ending up happening. So it's Sonny Styles and Chase Basantes. That'll be two great picks for the Giants to try and round out this roster and just keep on building that young talent going forward.
Yeah, I think if they use their brains, it's hard to miss. It's just if they take Jeremiah Love, I don't even know. That would be a disaster.
I don't know if it'd be a disaster. I feel like you're looking at a spot where you have your quarterback, you have a superstar receiver, you have two very good tackles, you have a tight end, you have a head coach, you have a very good defense with pieces. It's slotting in that superstar running back. You know, Scadaboo's good, but Jeremiah Love, I mean, he could be a Hall of Famer.
But like, if you look at the running back duos around the league, it's hard to name. Like, I don't think I can name like 10 better than Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scadaboo, especially at their age. They're both under 25. I think it's a good power guy in Scadaboo. You got that elusive receiving guy in Tracy. I think that's a really just a good duo, and I don't think running back is a need. Not at 5, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of similar to Caleb Downs, honestly, like a Love and Downs. I think they're both borderline, like, superstar prospects. Like, I would consider them both superstar prospects.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really call either of them generational. I think maybe Downs just because of safety.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that many safeties being ranked this high. But I think they're both in the same boat that they're not at huge positions of need. Not huge positions that go this high in the draft usually. And they're both like borderline like superstar level talent. So I think it's just what need is bigger for the Giants.
Yeah,
I think it's safety.
Yeah. So overall, you went with Downs and Pregnon. I went with Styles and Basantes. Yeah. So we'll go more in depth in the draft in the next couple episodes. Now, let's shift to the Jets side of things. This is where the draft, mocking it, gets really fun with the amount of assets that they have. You know, they have a ton of day 3 picks, so you could see trade ups. We'll go without trades right now.
I mean, you kind of expect them to make a trade at this point with Darren
Murphy. I think 33 is going to be traded on draft night, but we'll mock it without a trade.
I could see them even moving up from 16 to like
I could see that
11.
too. Yeah, if they want to move up for a guy,
if let's say Carnell Tate falls to 9 or 10, I could see them definitely moving.
Yeah,
up
I mean,
to 9 or 10.
Tate would be perfect next to Garrett Wilson. You know, you kind of look at it and you see Tate and Garrett Wilson, and that's a poor man's Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Like the stylistic play. I'm just saying, not like Garrett Wilson's Jamar Chase and Carnell Tate's T. Higgins, of course. Like the style of play, they would fit perfectly together.
No, 100%. It's just the difference between Geno Smith and Joe Burrow.
Oh yeah. So then at number 2, I'll go first, then you'll go after. They've got 2, 16, 33, and 44. Number 2, there's been a shift in the odds as of late. David Bailey and Arvel Reese are the two heavily favored. I wouldn't. I think it's a big smokescreen overall that David Bailey's rising up like this. I would. I don't. I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't really like the pick if they went with Bailey. I would take Styles or Bain over David Bailey at this point. I feel like you got Will McDonald, and I feel like you need. I'm gonna go number 2. I'm gonna go Arvel Reese. Just I think he would slot into this defense perfectly. He's 20 years old. When he meets Carl Dunbar, he's going to be a great edge when he transitions there. Just I don't want to miss out on potentially Micah Parsons.
Yeah. Am I giving my pick now, or are you doing all your picks?
I'm gonna go the entire, and then you'll go your draft.
Okay. So I mean, yeah, I think Reese is the right pick here at 2 for the Jets. But Bailey, it kind of seems like a smokescreen. I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm hoping at least.
But I think it doesn't make sense for the Jets to take Bailey.
Yeah.
When they have a guy like Will McDonald.
Look, he's a very good player, but I would go Reese. And
he's
I
3
really
years
hope
older
they
than
do.
Reese has more versatility. I think Reese is probably just the right pick at 2 instead of Bailey. But
so
this
now,
odds movement is interesting, though.
You move to 16, and it feels like it's consensus that 2 and 16 are going to be edge and receiver for the Jets if the board falls the right way, or pass catcher at least. Kenyon Sadiq's been talked about as well. At 16, I think it's between Carnell Tatum. I don't think's going to be there. So Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon. I don't think Lemon's going to be there. Kenyon Sadiq. Omar Cooper's in that conversation. I'm going to go with Jordan Tyson. I think he's going to fall a bit because of the injuries, and I don't love the fit next to Garrett Wilson. They're kind of very similar players, but he's that good. When he's healthy, he's probably the best receiver in this class. If he didn't have these injuries concerns, I think he's being talked about at number 2 as a possibility.
I think if he didn't have these injuries, he is very much in play at 5 for the Giants.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so I'm going to go Tyson. He's a great player. Question is the injuries. And you have a 1A, 1B kind of situation with Garrett Wilson and Jordan Tyson. Then you got Adonai Mitchell. And then I could see them drafting another receiver later. So Kenyon Sadiq is really tempting, though. I like Omar Cooper as well. But I'm going to go Tyson, assuming he is still on the board. And now the Jets have got their weapons. And now you move into the second round.
Yeah. I really like that pick for the Jets. I think the receiver, it does make the most sense at 16.
Yeah. So now you get to 33. And so Thursday night is the first round. And I think on Friday afternoon, on all of Friday, the question is going to be, do the Jets take Ty Simpson or do they pass on him? I think Ty Simpson's going to be there at 33. And I'm going to take him. I'm going to select Ty Simpson, the quarterback out of Alabama, with the 33rd pick for the Jets. I really like Ty. I would be pretty happy with this pick. And I don't like it at all at 16, but at 33, I really, really like it. And Ty, he looked so good the first part of the year. So I'm going to take Ty Simpson.
There were talks that Simpson was better than Mendoza.
Yeah. And then my plan is going to be to start Geno to start the season. And then eventually you'll transition to Ty Simpson. And hopefully you have your quarterback locked up for the future if he shows to be good. If not, it's a second round pick, not a first round pick. Even though it's the first pick of the second round, I still feel that they'd be able to move off of him and take another one next year. But yeah, I'm gonna go Ty at 33.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on Ty Simpson. I'm a huge Simpson guy. I love him as a prospect. I think his playmaking ability, he's got a great arm. Just his first couple games, he looked outstanding. I had him as my QB1 over Mendoza, and then the injuries started to pile up. Alabama just looked awful on offense. Like their run game was terrible. Ryan Williams was dropping passes. The whole receiving core was, but
Yeah.
I think Simpson's a great player, and I think Jets taking him at 33 makes a ton of sense, and I think it would be a good pick.
Yeah. So obviously we're saying no trades in this mock, but I could see that pick getting traded to the Cardinals or the Browns to come up and get Ty. But in this, I will go with Ty at 33, and I'm pretty happy about it. And then with the final pick in the first 50, at 44, there's a lot of ways the Jets can go with this. You know, you can go a second pass catcher. You can go and get Jeremy Bernard or Chris Bell. You can go offensive line and kind of make that front five even better. You can go in on defense. Jacob Rodriguez makes a lot of sense. A guy like Zion Young or R. Mason Thomas makes a lot of sense. Corner D'Angelo Pons, I could see. Safety, maybe. I'm between two guys here. I think I'm leaning either Jacob Rodriguez or Emmanuel Pregnon, assuming he's here at 44, which I could see. I'm gonna go with Emmanuel Pregnon. You took him for the Giants, so I'm gonna have him starting at left guard. Dylan Parham, I'm gonna have moving to center. And you have a great front five protecting Geno. You know, the thing about Geno is he can be productive. He just has to be protected. So Pregnon, I really like him as a prospect. And then I would think this would be a great draft. You go Reese, you go Tyson, Simpson, and then Pregnon. 3 on offense, and then they spent a lot on defense, and I'd be pretty happy with this as a Jets fan.
Yeah, I like all 4 of those picks. I think if you're a Jets fan, you're pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
So my let's see. All right, number 2, we already talked about him. I'm taking Reese at 2.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about it. I think he's 3 years younger than Bailey, right?
He's 20. Bailey, he's going to be turning 23.
Okay,
so right now it's 2, but yeah, I mean Bailey's much older.
All right, yeah. I think Reese just makes more sense for the Jets with Will McDonald, the versatility at linebacker or edge. I'm not sure how Bailey's going to translate to the NFL.
Yeah.
We'll see. 16, similar to you. I'm going to go Mekhi Lemon. I do think he falls to 16.
I've been happy with Mekhi Lemon. I've wanted him for months. I don't know if he's going to be there, but I'd be fired up for that pick.
Yeah, I do think he's going to be there at the end of the day. I have him as my wide receiver 1 in the draft over Carnell Tate, personally. I just think Lemon's a more complete player. I think the only downside on him is his size.
Yeah.
But he has great jump ball ability for a guy his size, which is the only thing that size really limits, and just being physical. But I mean, he has excellent hands. He's great with the ball in his hands. He can get a lot of yards after the catch. Great route running. I think he's just the best receiver overall in this draft class, like the most complete receiver.
All right. So then you've got Reese and Lemon. I'd be pretty freaking happy with that. So now you've got 33 and 44.
I was thinking about Simpson. This is a tough spot here. I agree. I do think this pick eventually gets traded. I'm gonna go another guy on the defensive side of the ball. I'm gonna go Caden McDonald.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
the Jets. I don't think that happens. I don't think they're taking a D tackle, but I mean, that's not a bad pick.
I think he's a great player, great run stopper. He can rush a little bit as a D
tackle. You already got Reese, you know, and then we talk Styles and Downs. I mean, you could take anyone from this Ohio State defense and it'd be
I think he's just
good.
A monster up front, and I think he'll fit well with the Jets next to newly acquired Devontae Sweat. You got Juwan Briggs,
David Onyemata, Harrison Phillips. Yeah, just a stacked D line, and then you've got McDonald, Kingsley Ignogbare, Joseph Asai, and then you're slotting in Arvell Reese there too.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go with McDonald at 33, and then What is it? 44.
44.
I think there's a couple options you could go here. I think guard makes sense, like you said. I just don't think Basantis or Pregnan falls to 44. I think they both go either late in the first or early in the second. I'm gonna go corner here. A guy I brought up at 37 for the Giants. I'm gonna go Brandon Cisse.
Okay.
I think he has really high upside. He's a freak athlete. He can cover really well. I think he's just one of the better corners in this draft, and I think the Jets do need corner. They're solid there, but
I could definitely see corner taken. I mean, I could see if Jermod McCoy falls to 16, I could see them saying, "All right, let's just go and get a number one corner, and then we'll trade up from 33 to get a receiver." Yeah, but I think that could happen. I brought up Pons. I could see that happening. He's very similar to Aaron Glenn as a player. Chris Johnson, I could see Colton Hood if he falls to. Yeah, there's a ton of options. I just don't know if they're going to go corner in the top 44.
I think at 44 it makes sense. It's not like you look at it as top 50 pick, whatever, but it's already their fourth pick of the draft. So
yeah,
I think corner makes sense. So I think one of those five guys makes a ton of sense. I think Scott especially makes sense, but I'm gonna go Cisse here.
All right, yeah, I'm a fan of it. So you've got Reese, you've got Lemon, and then Caden McDonald, the big D tackle from Ohio State, and then you have Brandon Cisse, the corner from South Carolina. So I would be happy with both drafts for the Jets that you and I both did, and then the Giants. I think we both made two very solid picks for them as well. So I mean, I'm ready for the draft to be here in about 2 weeks. We'll talk more about that in the next couple episodes. As I said, that's going to do it for episode 5 of Inside the Numbers. We will see you all next week. Hunter Aschenbrenner and Jake Auerbach.